Today I'll be reviewing this American classic, Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. It's set in a futuristic world, which is, we should give credit to the imagination of Bradbury. Although it's an old book, it's set in a futuristic world, where there are robots and where there are lots of uh, lots of technology. So in amidst all this technology, amidst all this life, future life, modern life, there Guy Montag, the protagonist, does some soul searching. So he's trying to figure out what's wrong with the system. you know and so maybe the books hold all the answers, and the books are banned and the books are burnt. So he fights the system. So I enjoyed it as a sociologist a lot. So it's a bookworm's fantasy. We love this passion for books. And there were parts of it that were difficult to understand, especially the futuristic the sceneries. I wish there was more elaboration of this future sceneries. I read it multiple times but still couldn't understand this future elements, in some parts of the book. So I was thinking maybe there's a Guy Montag somewhere in North Korea, trying to figure things out, trying to find answers, why things are the way they are there. you know so we don't have to go to more North Korea. We even in the West, there was the church burning the books, blacklisting of books during McCarthy era. So I would have loved if Montag was you know as passionate about books you know uh, as the author. So he thinks books hold all the answers without having read any. So the story would have been much more convincing if he had read a lot of books and was a book lover. So he's a book lover but he hasn't read many books. And so he thinks the books have all the answers but books are banned. And so that is the situation, and I would have been more convinced if he was if he was an avid reader, and he couldn't live without books. So that would have made it much more convincing to me, than just waking up one day and saying, okay, books are my savior. So there are some parts where the author comes across as a snob. So that is also there. And the good part is that the writing is readable, accessible, which I like a lot. And well, this book, the lessons in this book, the theme of this book holds true in this day and age also, because society is getting dumber. you know that's the whole, that it's in the book too. It's not me saying it, it's in the book. The society is getting dumber, and the rule of the ignorant, ignorant are the rulers. And there's impending war. We're on the cusp of war with Iran and the Middle East. There might be a war, in our time. So this is relevant. And there is also the powerful fear, the books. The power of books. Caesar burned the library in Alexandria. So today too there is a lot of censorship going on. Even in the West, the censorship is there. So I would rate this book 4 stars out of 5. The story could have been resolved better. The story is not disappointing, the ending is not disappointing, but I wish it was much more convincing, much more powerful than this. And it's basically says what happens to a society without books. So guys, I enjoyed reading this book a lot. I hope you try this too. And guys, happy reading.